name is Paul Nee, and I'm from PNG. I'm from the islands of Papua New Guinea, in a place called Bay River. It is located in Western Orange Province. It's in the interior of Papua New Guinea. I'm based in Port Moresby, but everything started back when I was still doing my university studies. So when I went home, my grandmother who passed on usually uh, tells me that the history about how she met her husband and how the things that she did that enabled her to meet her husband. So that captivated me to write book. So what happened was I did not, uh, I didn't write the whole book in a year. So I wrote a chapter like because I was busy doing my law studies and I didn't have time to write book. So what happened was when I went back home I started writing, but at other times I shelved everything and I left it there. So I wrote like a chapter at a time. So it took me almost 10 or 20 years for me to come up with an entire book. So the reason why I wrote this book is because oral history, it gets fade away when people try to retell what they hear. So the reason why I wrote the book because oral history, the reason why I wrote this book so that oral history must be kept and preserved so that our future generations will be able to tell the truth instead of making things up. And not only that, but it is good for our society and for culture as well, because people will depend on our rich history for their own good and for their own gain as well. And that was the whole reason why I wrote this book. And I didn't think it would be published. I just wrote a book thinking that it was one of my hobbies. And then when I saw that Anna and the group, they advertised on the Facebook that they're accepting um, like short stories from the people of the Greater Pacific. So I was of the view that let me try. So I submitted a copy of the draft to Hannah. Well, I just submitted just for the sake of submitting. Then I realized that Anna said it was accepted. And that was the time I realized that in PNG, we can be authors. We have lots and lots of things to be written. We have our caves, we have our jungles, we have our rivers, where a lot of stories can be told. But the problem with us is we don't write things. So if only we could sit down and write things, we can write about so many things. That's what I've noticed. And I have noticed that my story was published. So I think we have a lot of good writers in Papua New Guinea who can be even much better than me. So that was the reason why I feel that it's good for us to start write things instead of saying it. And the other thing that I've noticed is a lot of people nowadays, they're not writing things. So in order for us to preserve our history and tradition, we have to write things so that it will be kept and preserved. Even when we die out, those things will tell their own stories to our future generations to come. My advice to other storytellers is when they hear stories, they must start write what they hear. And they must not make things up. Because once when they make things up, the flavor changes. The reality fades away. So once when they hear things, it's the time where they must start writing it. And not only that, if need be, they must go and do further research, and they must do their own investigations and write things. That's my advice to the storytellers. Writing is not an easy task. When I look at writing, it involves a lot of discipline, courage, and determination. So if people really mean business about preserving their cultures, they must be disciplined. And they must walk around. They must do a lot of self-discipline and collect information, especially go back to the village and interview the elders, talk with them, stay with them, and study the culture. Because a lot of people are like, I'm into my 40s, but a lot of people, we grew up in the cities, and we forgot all about what happened in a village setting. So in order for us to know what happened in a village setting, we need to go back, interview all people, and we must know their stories. And then we can be able to be good authors, and we can be able to preserve our identity and culture. I'm happy to be in Townsville, and I've never been here. This is my first time to be in Townsville, and I'm feeling at home here because the culture, the people here, and everything is same as my home back in Port Moresby. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you.